A Queensland mother has been left devastated due to her treatment at a Brisbane hospital. After waiting more than 12 hours in the emergency department with her baby, Sophie, Sarah Stoddart was denied food, all because she wasn't breastfeeding. Sarah joins us now from Eatons Hill in Queensland. Sarah, my blood is boiling just reading about your story as a mum who struggled to breastfeed my first child myself. Can you take us through what happened to you?
Yeah, sure, Jane, no problems at all. So I presented at 2 a.m. in the emergency department at Prince Charles Hospital here in Brisbane. That was after Sophie had woken in the middle of the night, vomiting, very, very high temperature, and we just couldn't settle her down. So I took off in the middle of the night off to the ED, where, of course, I was very stressed, very worried and very tired to see what was wrong with her. So we, of course, went through all the motions there of telling our story and getting her sorted out. But in the midst of all of that, I was asked several questions about how she's fed. And at that point, I had made a decision to cease breastfeeding and move her to formula feeding. There were a few side eyes about that, but I moved past that. And it wasn't until the next morning came, and we'd been at ED for about 12 hours by this point, and I was starting to feel very depleted myself, of course, trying to care for her, support her, and make decisions regarding her healthcare. So I made some inquiries as to whether or not I could get a meal to, keep me going, and was told that breastfeeding mothers are the only people that receive meals when their children are admitted into the paediatric ward. I couldn't believe it. I was then presented with a brochure where they circled and brought to my attention that very statement that only mothers who breastfeed receive meals. I just couldn't believe it. I was sad, devastated, made to feel so guilty, almost criminal. And then, of course, I was just enraged. This is going on in 2023 in this country.
I mean, it's such a vulnerable time in your life anyway, those first few months with a newborn baby. The stress you must have been under with a sick child as well. Nobody makes the decision not to breastfeed lightly, I don't imagine. How did it make you feel when you were confronted with this in the hospital?
I really just couldn't believe it. As you've rightly said, that decision is not a decision that is made easy. There are many reasons why I had to make that very tough decision, and it's a guilt that I live with. But it's a stigma in this country that unfortunately women have to face and can't really be honest about why their decision is being made because of the judgment. I couldn't believe it. I just, as I said, was disappointed, sad, enraged, shocked. That this was going on in the country and that I was being pretty much discriminated against because of my decision, my right to choose how I feed my child, and on that, making a decision that's actually best for her as to how to get the nutrients that she needs.
Absolutely true. And Sarah, thank you so much for speaking up about this because you have done that. The policy has now changed and all parents with babies under the age of 6 months will get meals in hospital. So on behalf of other mothers out there, thanks so much for speaking out. Carl.
Thanks, Jane. Appreciate your time.
How was there a policy in the first place? I can't fathom it. It's ridiculous.
Hey there, Today fans. Sarah and...
What's my name again?
Oh my goodness, Carl.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel, though. Subscribe now for more news, special reports, and amazing Aussie stories.
And Carl misbehaving,
Whoa,
of course.
That never happens.
Always happens.
What's she talking about?